Hello, this is Deborah Yao with Black Education TV, and I'm going to be sharing a short clip with you of an elder woman who is kicking some very powerful, strong knowledge to the younger generation. And the knowledge that she's kicking is so strong and so powerful that it would literally go over most people's head because they can't relate to what she's saying, because this is not something they are seeing, and it's not something they would even appreciate. As you look around, it's very clear that most of our people do not adhere to these words. You see, and most of them consider themselves to be victims, in which you can't consider yourself to be a victim when you are not putting forth the effort required to have a better life for yourself, for your family. I'm going to go ahead and roll her clip, and then I'll come back with my words on exactly what she's talking about.
We had mothers to raise us. They raised us to be women, raise our own children.
Yes,
see, y'all go pick them. All y'all want somebody you can put your hand on and whine and all cutting and all that foolishness. A woman has to be a woman. A woman places in a home. A man places to provide. And if he don't provide, then you don't need him.
So, Mama Agnes, what kind of women like us dudes just choose? How do you feel about us just choosing all these, you know?
I don't feel anything, because I got my man. I've been had him for 54 years. And I always had to be a woman. I've been a woman. Look, I've been working since I was 7. I've been raising children since I was 5. I've been cooking since I was 4.5. And these women today, all they know is McDonald's, fast foods and stuff. They don't know nothing about cooking and feeding no man. Or wait till a man hardens through his stomach, get you behind in there and cook.
You know,
and feed him.
And what about the
and
loyalty?
Make sure he get up off his butt and go to work.
Is that something that's missing in this community?
No, the women sorry. Now, they may not like me for saying it, but these younger women today, they don't even raise their children. Their children raising them. Look, a woman's place is to raise her children, and at the end of the day, tell their husbands which one they had to almost kill. That's how that go. That's why the juvenile center is so full, and they're expanding the jails, because mothers don't raise their children and putting the blame on the man. And the man ain't worth a quarter because he won't work.
Mama Agnes, before, you know, and with Facebook, because, you know, they listen to everything you say.
I'm telling the truth, and I can't stand it. Because I'm 72 years old, and I still don't mind working. I ain't scared of work. They stay in the system and use up the elderly money. They been in the system and lay out there and get all them children and expect us to help them take care of them. I'm sick of it.
Okay, as you've seen, these very powerful words spoken by this elder woman are enough to shatter glass, in my opinion. I love these kind of older people who are speaking and teaching and talking knowledge. I have seen videos where you'll have older women who are just talking nonsense, and you just feel disgusted. I mean, years ago, there was one where an older lady, and of course, a lot of people were making excuses for her, but she was older, and she was talking about all kinds of filthy sex and all kinds of, you know, degrading things. And the person behind the camera, as they were filming this, you know, our people think that kind of stuff is funny and cute coming from a child or an older person, but I don't think it's funny and cute at all. So when I hear an elder that's speaking like this woman here, I take my hat off to her. I applaud her. She gets a standing ovation from me, because she's kicking some very real knowledge that our people need to hear today. This woman says that she's been working since she was 7 years old, taking care of children since she was 5 years old, I believe, and cooking since she was 4.5, you know, somewhere along those lines. I don't know if I'm getting the ages exactly right, but, you know, you saw the clip. She was very young, doing all of that, working, taking care of children, you see, and, you know, all those things which kids today at age 4 and age 5, 7, unfortunately, a lot of children are not doing the things that she spoke of. Taking care of children, cooking, working. They're not doing it at those ages. And so that is very impressive to hear this elder woman being able to do those things at such a young age. And so this means that it's very important when you see the scripture that says train up a child in the way they should go. Whoever her parents were, they did a great job of doing exactly that. But in today's time, you see women making excuses. Oh, he's too young. Oh, she don't know no better. When I hear parents say that a child doesn't know any better when they're doing some foolishness and folly, that really disturbs me. You're basically saying that your child is just incompetent, or that you're incompetent for not instilling in them the way that they should go. For a child to be excused from bad behavior because the parent don't want to, oh, he doesn't know any better. They knew to do the wrong. So what do you mean they don't know any better? They don't know any better because they were not taught any better. And although the scripture does say mischief is bound in the heart of a child, you don't have to teach a child to lie, steal, or anything like that. Mischief is bound. That's a spirit. Mischief is a spirit that enters into children at a very young age. But it's for you as the parent to teach them, no, little Johnny, you don't steal the cookie. No, little Timmy, you don't want to hit your sister. Oh, no, little Billy Bob, you don't want to talk that way. You don't want to steal. You have to teach them, you see. But when you have parents talking about them not knowing any better, that you're just providing an excuse for yourself for not teaching them any better, you see. Now, some other things that this woman talked about, and I noted, I'm very impressed with how she was raised, right? But she was talking about how women don't need no man who's not working and is not doing anything for his family. And she talked about the structure on how women took care of the house. They raised the children. They handled their business. The scripture tells you that a wise woman builds her house, but a foolish woman plucketh it down with her hands. Meaning you're going to make excuses for not doing the best that you could in terms of raising your children, taking care of your husband. We don't need excuses. We need progress. While other nations are making progress in life, we're making excuses. And of course, I'm not talking about raising children, okay? Because they can learn. These other nations can learn from this woman too, because they have children too that are way out of line and out of order. But I'm talking to our people right now, because we tend to want to wear life as a crutch and just make it appear as though, I can't do any better, so stay off my back about this. We want to make excuses for mediocrity or for not doing what it is that we are supposed to do. Our people are just filled with excuses. If your child does something they're not supposed to do, you have a job to teach them to do better or to not do something, you see. And as it relates to a woman and how she deals with her husband, there are women today, literally, that don't believe it's their job to take care of the needs of their husband, such as cooking and wifely duties. Now, don't try to take us back to biblical times, because I've heard women say this too. Well, the women had help back then. They had maid servants and they had this, that, and the other. I don't want to hear those excuses in today's time. We don't have it like that to have maid servants. And so the buck falls on you. It's your job. It's your job to raise the children, take care of your husband and things of that nature. Even if raising the children involves teaching them how to do certain things, because as you saw, this elder woman was cooking and working and taking care of children at ages 4.5, 5, and 7. So it's not unheard of that children would know how to do things. One of the books that we read for our school, the kids were impressed when they saw that children were able to fend for themselves at a young age, meaning without adult help. They were able to survive in times of drought and famine because they were taught how to do that. If you're not teaching your children how to survive, then they won't survive. If you're saying they're too young or they don't know any better, you're instilling in them to be behind the curve on everything. You're instilling in them to be dependent on others and not being able to take care of their own needs. That's not a good thing to do. And we've got to get up off of this lazy thing that we've allowed ourselves to get stuck in. Many of our people have gotten stuck in a certain mindset to where they believe others owe them something. You cannot survive in this world if your mindset is, if I fall short, I'm going to ask somebody else to take care of my laziness. That's really what you're doing. When you decide that you're going to kick your legs up and sit back and chill because I got this person over here I can just borrow from if I need to, that's a lazy mindset. If you have that lazy mindset of a sluggard, you're going to be brought to poverty. That's what the scripture says. You will be brought to poverty if you don't have the mindset of doing everything it is you must do to take care of you and yours. If you're always looking for someone else to fill in the gaps for you because you've kicked your feet up or you've blown your money, there's nothing worse than someone who decides, okay, I want this new gadget over here. I want this new thing over here that I don't need. I need this new pair of shoes. I'm going to go and treat myself to this. I'm going to treat myself to this new pair of shoes, this new outfit, because I deserve it. I work hard for this. I know I'm going to fall a little short on my rent this month, but that's all right. I'll just borrow it from so-and-so. That type of mindset will get you nowhere in life. If you want to blow your money on nonsense, because you know you can borrow it from so-and-so, because you know that they're so nice that you can take advantage of them like that. That type of attitude will get you nowhere. And then, now the mother, she didn't leave the man out either. She kind of hit every target in terms of what needs to be done. If a man don't work, he don't eat. She's pretty much saying if a man don't work, you don't need him. Because there is an order to how things are done. And right now, among brothers, I see a lot of excuses made where brothers feel like if they fall on hard times, don't have a job, and ain't even trying to do anything, they feel that a woman should support him regardless, just because. Where is that mindset coming from? Back in the day, a man prided himself on being able to take care of his family. And if he couldn't find a job, he would do other things. He would create a job. He didn't just fold up and die, or in the cases of today, go out and find a woman to take care of him. That is not the order of Yah. And no excuse in the world will justify it. No excuse in the world. And so we've got to do better as a people. I appreciate the wisdom of the elders who have held on to this type of belief and understanding, because not all of them are holding on. There's a saying that there's no fool like an old fool, and there are certainly a lot of them out here who are not teaching the younger generations, but are trying to be friends with the younger generations in a way that is counterproductive. Trying to dress like them and act like them. But we need more of our elders to continue to teach the way that this woman is teaching, because she have great nuggets for the whole house, for the man, for the woman, for the children. Children are only going to be what you instill in them. If you tell them that they have to be a certain age before they can do ABC, that's what it's going to be. It's really sad, because when I look around, see, she was dealing with what she did as a child. But when I look around today, you have grown men and women who don't know their butt from a hole in the ground. Now, that's a statement I used to hear my mom say. And I always thought it was funny, but I understand what she means. Meaning that you are so clueless that you can't tell the difference between the two. Those are some of the sayings that older people make sometimes. So hopefully nobody was offended by that. But the wisdom that older people have when they choose to hold on to it, that is, because like I said, many have slipped away. But when they kick this kind of knowledge, it's for those of us who are younger to take heed so that the next generation could understand how it is they must be. I feel like we as a people are going from bad to worse. More and more we're starting to see our young people who don't know anything. They don't know anything about life, but they do know how to dress right. They know how to dress in the latest fashions. They know how to waste and blow their money on nonsense. Who are they learning this stuff from? Who are they learning it from? It is up to the parents. It is your job. The scripture tells you to train them up in the way that they should go. You see, it is for the parents to teach children that they cannot live a certain way. And they will grow up to be women who handle their business. Because of the way this woman was raised, she grew up to be a woman who is handling her business. And no doubt her brothers are men who are handling their business. You see, that is what we need. As long as you, and see, the problem is the younger generations now, because we get further and further away from how we should do things. You have this generation now who are going to be the adults of tomorrow, and then they're going to be the grandparents of tomorrow. And imagine what they've allowed to enter into their minds and fester in their lives, all of the bad habits and the wicked ways. If you allow the child to grow with that, they become a teenager with that, they become an adult with that, they become a senior with that. And they won't have these kind of nuggets to teach because they themselves are going to be have you ever heard of a thug grandma? I've seen them. I've seen thug grandmas and thug grandpas. These are people who were not raised the way they were supposed to be raised. And they grew from a child to what you see, this big tree, this elder person with no nonsense whatsoever. You can't think that you can establish a foundation on foolishness and wickedness and you're going to grow something that's, or build something that's strong and solid. Don't think that for one moment. What you put in at an early age and what you continue to nurture and cultivate throughout their life, that's what you're going to have. We have a lot of work to do, family. We need to stop making excuses for our mediocrity and the curse is this and oh, it's because of that. I don't know no better. Nobody taught me. I'm sorry. Once you get up in age, I don't want to hear about how you were raised or that nobody taught me this. I feel like certain things are common sense. No, at a certain age, nobody needs to tell you that it's wrong to steal. You know better. You know that feeling that you get when you're about to do it. You know it's wrong. Nobody needs to tell you that not taking care of your children is wrong. I'm sorry, but all the excuses we make all these excuses because we feel like that the excuse should get people off your back. No, people should be on your case more and more just because we will not improve if we want to be coddled through life, through all of our failures, through all of our wrongdoings. I've seen people who have gone through things as children, horrendous things, but they said they made a choice. Once they got of age, they said, look, I'm not going to let my past destroy my future. I've seen people rise above this stuff. But on the other hand, I've seen other people who use it as an excuse or a crutch. Oh, well, I was raised this way. That's why I can't do no better. Nobody wants to hear that. We don't have that option any longer, family. We don't have that kind of option to just sit and wallow in self-pity because of how you were raised, but you're grown now, but you're still using your childhood as an excuse for failure today. I could go on and on about this subject because as we all look around in the so-called black community, many of us have thrown up our hands. We just don't know what to think because many of our people just don't want to seem to change. You can say you want to change all you want. It's not what you say, but what you do. I mean, I've literally seen people who had a rough life fight their way through that. Now, I can hear some of the excuses now, but everybody's different. All of us ain't as strong. Well, if that's the mentality you want to take and use and wear as a Band-Aid, you will always be one of those who says, well, I can't because. But if you take the mentality of that person that says, look, I know things were rough for me coming up and things may even be rough now, but I'm going to rise above this. I'm going to do the best that I can to do better for me and mine. I'm going to raise my children different than how I was raised. That's the attitude you should be embracing and not the self-pity attitude or the excuse attitude. We've got to do better. Shalom, family.